Merry Christmas, fellow babies. Welcome back to Pachter Factor. Happy Chanukah, happy Kwanzaa. I don't know, what else is it? Happy Festivus, anything else? And I was raised Jewish. I know how to say Chanukah, so don't argue with me. We are hopeful you're watching Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net as a Patreon patron. If you aren't a Patreon patron, you can help us out. We got bills to pay. We got to pay for all that eggnog for our big SIFTD party. So if you can join SIFTD just on a one-time basis, Patreon, and throw us a couple bucks, maybe we can have a beer and we'll toast all those extra people. Thanks very much. If you're watching on YouTube and you can link your Twitch Prime account to your YouTube subscription, then we'll get a couple bucks thrown our way that way as well. So thank you. And a Christmas gift to me, please follow me on Twitter. I need more followers. At Michael Pachter. Follow Shane at Dinfire. Follow SIFTD at SIFTD Games. And again, any coins you can throw us on Patreon for Christmas gifts, thanks very much. Our first question this week, YouTube user Andrew OSullivan. What a great name. Hey, Pach. Have been a huge fan since the GT days. Andrew, I've been a fan of yours since the GT days as well. If you were to start a game development company, what kind of game would work best with a limited development budget? Where would you focus marketing spending and what platform would you release the game for first? Well, I'm not going to do that. If you're really limited, mobile. And mobile because it takes fewer people. And the biggest expense in making a game is the people. So, you know, there are guys who have made games like Flappy Bird was one guy. There are plenty of games that have been made with 6 people. You know, if you really were limited, I would go mobile. But the trick is, how do you make a mobile game that people really want to play? I would make a game that has a multiplayer component to it that is competitive and repetitive, that people want to play against one another. So an example of that would be bowling. And again, we don't need another bowling game. But the idea that the game has scores and you can rank how you did against how somebody else did, where the game has the same game mechanic for everybody, and so it's a level playing field. And then I would go to skills.com and I would get the skills guys to put your game on their site because they pay out tournament fees to the developers. So I actually think that's the fastest way to make some money. But I tell you what's really sorely missing in the game world, and it blows me away that people are not chasing this. You know that mobile app HQ Trivia? We need a good trivia game. We need a good trivia game that really gets people excited. Glue Mobile has one. Quiz Up, I think it's called. They have one with like 500,000 players and nobody spends money because no one's figured out how to spend money in a trivia game. Put a trivia game in a tournament setting, so free app store, put it on skills, turn it into trivia tournaments, and literally you could play in bars, you could play any place you were, you could wager $1, it's legal in 47 states. I think you would make money. So if I were to do it, I wouldn't set my sights on making $1 billion and coming up with the next Candy Crush. I set my sights on making $1 million. But if you can develop that Quiz Up game with 6 people, and you can come up with, you know, a way to link Wikipedia entries and come up with questions, essentially what HQ Trivia did, I think you could make a ton. So that's what I would do. But again, I'm not a creative guy. I'm a money-driven, financial, greedy pig. So cigar-chomping millionaire, as somebody else asked. Our next question from SIFTD from Dove Tutis. Hello, Mr. Pachter. Hello, Mr. Dove Tutis. Will we see new VR headsets with the next console generation? If so, what improvements will there be? Now that it's been on the market for 2 years, has PlayStation VR been a success? How will this financial performance affect VR on consoles going forward? VR is a chicken and egg problem. Chicken and egg means, you know, which came first, the chicken or the egg. You can't have chickens without eggs. You can't have eggs without chickens. VR is a hardware versus content problem. You can't sell VR headsets without content, and you can't give anybody an incentive to make content without a lot of VR headsets. And so Sony took it on and said, we're going to make this thing relatively inexpensive, you know, whatever it is, $399 or something. I think we're seeing bundles for $599 roughly, you know, with the PlayStation, not with the Pro. I think that it's come down to essentially $349, and you're getting PS4s for $200, so you're getting it, kind of in that $549, $599. But it would be better with PS4 Pro, obviously. But it's expensive, and there's been a lot of content. Astro Bot is like one of the more compelling games, but not 100 of those. Like 1 or 2 every 6 months. Like, not really great, compelling experiences. So it's going to take a while before it becomes a thing. I think the wired headset is a tether. My PlayStation is built into the wall under my TV, and my couch is 13 feet away, and the headset cord is 10 feet. So it's just like lamely designed. And I'm sure that I can get some type of weird USB extension cord and figure it out, but I don't. So when I play PlayStation VR, I have to go sit on a chair, which is just an odd experience, and I'd rather not. Make it wireless, and then you don't have to do any of that stuff. I also get too far from the camera. I don't have a place to put the camera. The design of the device is as if you sit in an 8x8 room and your PlayStation is the centerpiece of the room, and it's really easy to set up, and it's just not. So they can fix all that by making the camera wireless, making the headset wireless, put the camera wherever you are, put the headset on and get comfortable. It totally would work. So that's the improvement, and that'll be a PS5 improvement. I don't think there's any point in doing it in the current generation. They've sold a couple of million, and I haven't seen an update since then. Considering they sell 20 million PlayStations a year at roughly the same price. It's 10% of PlayStation hardware, and it's nice to have, but they're probably not making any money on it. So it really isn't moving the needle. I mean, if they're making money, it's thin margin. PlayStation costs are coming down, VR probably, but not much. So not really impactful. Sony's committed. I don't think Sony's going to drop it. I just think that Sony is ahead of the curve, of the demand curve. So demand isn't there yet because there haven't been that many experiences. All right, our next question from SIFTD from SJOS0S. What's your game of the year? Wow, and Shane and I were just talking about this. On quality, there's probably only 3 games that you could even consider. Red Dead probably first, God of War probably second, Spider-Man probably third. Just saying those are probably the 3 highest rated games. I'm sure somebody will find something that got a higher score than one of them, but they're the 3 biggest titles, biggest buzz games. Interestingly, they're 3 very different games. So, God of War is, in fairness, my kind of game. Spider-Man 2, as well, Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is more niche-y. Like, you really gotta like superhero, comic book driven games. And again, it's as good, I personally thought it was better than Batman. So it's as good as they come. But, everybody doesn't like Spider-Man type games, and everybody doesn't like God of War type games. So if I had to bet Red Dead wins, I haven't played Red Dead yet. Is it my game of the year? Shane and I had a big, long off-camera discussion about this. My game of the year is Fortnite. And it really depends on how you define what is game of the year. I think Fortnite has had a cultural impact unlike anything I have ever seen. And I mean, in any medium, anything. I mean, Fortnite is to games what Facebook is to socialization, or Snapchat or texting is, to how we communicate. It just changed the whole world. And the idea that, Oprah and Ellen know what Fortnite is, that speaks volumes. I mean, ask Ellen how she liked the Spider-Man game or what she thinks of Red Dead Redemption. But she knows who Ninja is, and she knows what Fortnite is. I mean, my wife knows what Fortnite is. That's just crazy. Your grandma knows what Fortnite is. So, I just saw a feature on the news about popular baby names coming from Fortnite characters. It's like, yeah, but I mean, really odd, like really odd ones, so it's, as opposed to like Overwatch, like, what is Ash, what is Hanzo? Like, I mean, I'm sure there is somebody who named their kid Hanzo, but or Reinhardt or whatever. But I mean, Reinhardt's actually kind of a cool name, don't you think? But it doesn't have the same impact. So Fortnite is more like it's more of a cultural phenomenon, and I think it deserves Game of the Year for that. So that would be my choice. I personally frickin' hate it. So I'm not at all saying it's my favorite game. I just find building to be tedious and hard and a waste of time. And I got to say, I played Fortnite. I probably have 2 hours in. I played Fortnite and then watched a Ninja video back when he was kind of just starting to be a thing on Fortnite. And I watched that video of him, building while running, building a platform, running up each platform that he built, looking down and shooting at the same time. And I'm like, where are his hands and how is he doing this? Like, how is it even possible to do all those different, commands all at once? And that's when I went, I'm done. Like, no, I'm never playing this game again. So anyway, my answer is Fortnite because I think I've never seen anything like it, that it just captures everybody's imagination. Last question this week from Patreon, from Darth Irv. Is there any way that GameStop is able to reinvent its business model and stay afloat? Good question. No, not really. The truth is, I think that the publishers and the console manufacturers would be foolish to eliminate physical media. I think that there are a certain number of consumers who like to touch a packaged product and buy it that way. I think that there is a marketplace for used games, and I think that there's a number of consumers who look at a disc, a DVD for a game, and look at that as a $10 bill and say, when I'm done playing it, I can sell it back to GameStop for 10 bucks. And as long as that number of people is meaningful enough, then the publishers and the console guys should care about them and make sure they keep producing physical copies. So the question will be, do PS5 and Xbox 2 have disk drives? And if they do, GameStop's fine for another 7 or 8 or 10 years. There will still be games sold and there will still be used games. The reason I think that it matters, aside from the fact that you got to keep customers happy, if that's how they want it, then make sure they can get it, is that you have to sell consoles if you're Sony. And if you start selling consoles only at Amazon, you're going to sell fewer consoles. You've got to have people at Costco and Walmart walking by a display that shows a console, and grandma goes, oh shoot, yeah, little Johnny told me a year ago he wanted a PS4, and maybe he told me 5 years ago, and it's holiday 18, maybe I should buy him one. So there better be one on the floor or grandma's not going to buy it. And so if you don't offer software, why is the retailer going to dedicate shelf space to an item that only moves at retail at holiday? That's a problem. You can argue, you can push back on me and say, well, they sell TVs, but TVs are something that, we sell many hundreds of millions, if not billions of TVs. I think that there are over 2 billion televisions in homes, and I think it might be like 3 or 4 billion, as opposed to 250 million consoles. So no, the market is going to be at retail for at least half of the people. And so you want to make sure that you keep those people happy. And the fact is, a lot of people don't trust digital downloads, or they put their console in a place that doesn't have good internet access, like the garage or the basement or the attic. And so why would you limit your customer base and tell them they've got to be online all the time and they have to download? So as long as there's physical, there will be GameStop. Now, reinvent the business model. They made a horrific mistake, and they spent all their money and borrowed to expand into selling mobile phones. And that was just a crap business. And on November 21st, which was not a coincidence, the 5-year anniversary of the day they got into this business, they sold it. So they're out of the mobile phone business. Their revenues are coming in at around 700 million from that. They said in April of 2016, 2.5 years ago, that revenue number would be 1.6 billion by next year. And they're doing 700 million this year and selling it. They said back in April of 2016, they would make more than 200 million in profit from that business and through 3 quarters, they're at about 60 million. So they're tracking to 80 this year, and that's with cutting costs to the bone. So really a terrible purchase. I'm glad they're out of it, but the truth is trying to reinvent yourself is hard, and most companies can't do it. There's one massive success in reinvention, which is Netflix. There's another massive success in reinvention, is Apple. And because I can name those 2 companies, it tells you there aren't very many. It is really hard. You guys might not remember, but Apple used to sell home computers. Remember that? And they still do, but more often they sell MacBooks, so laptops, and they sell iPads, and they sell iPhones, and they make a ton of money from online services like iTunes, App Store, Apple Music, where they sell you digital stuff. So that company's reinvented itself and been phenomenally successful. It is hard to do, and I don't think GameStop's going to be able to do that. So GameStop needs a retail presence for anything to actually work. They are dedicating shelf space to collectibles, and I think that's actually an interesting business. And I think there's a lot of potential for them to sell other stuff, but it's still going to be a retail store concept. My bias is GameStop goes away and gets bought by what they call private equity, goes private. And when GameStop goes private, private equity will manage the business and milk as much profit as they can out of it. That's what happened to Redbox. I mean, if you guys probably didn't know this, but Redbox used to be a public company. It was called Outerwall. It got bought by private equity. They got rid of all their dopey other businesses. They're running DVD, not kiosks, vending machines. And those, I guess they are kiosks, but those vending machines are very profitable, and they still exist. And people called for the end of the DVD 5 years ago, 7 years ago. So GameStop's the same thing. I think going private will allow it to stay out there. I wouldn't worry about them declaring bankruptcy. With this sale of mobile, they haven't done it yet, but they will pay off all their debt. Bankruptcy risk is 0. So if you have credits there, don't worry about it. You will be able to convert your credits into new and used game purchases. But I think they stay in business for quite a while. With that, fellow babies, have a very happy holiday. Have a happy Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus, whatever you celebrate. If you don't celebrate, just have a very warm and safe, winter with your family. Enjoy your friends, because they aren't going to be around forever. If you can keep us going on Patreon, please do. If you can't subscribe, but instead prefer a one-time gift, would be appreciated. We can pay for our holiday party. And if you're watching on YouTube, just link that Twitch Prime account to your YouTube subscription. We'll get a couple of bucks. You have to remember to do it every month. And at a minimum, follow me at Michael Pachter on Twitter. When you follow, let me know. Say, hey, I followed you because you guilted me into it. I've only seen one of those. I got one of those. I thought that was really cool. If you follow me or at Dinfire or at SIFTD Games, let us know that you did it because we guilted you into it, because I have a feeling I'm not guilting any of you into it, but I'm going to try now. Happy holidays. Have a great and prosperous end of 18, and Happy New Year soon into 19. We'll see you when we come back. We're probably going to take a week or 2 off at New Year's, but we'll see you next year. Bye-bye.